What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show for you. Tonight, we're mock drafting from the 5th overall pick here in a 10-team PPR league over on our ESPN platform here. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this one. I do have a huge playlist of mock drafts that I've done. Basically, every position 1 through 12. We've been through the entire draft slot process now, and then I'm just trying to pump in as many 10 and 12 team mocks before the regular season starts to get you guys ready for your upcoming draft. So in this one, it's going to be fun. It starts in about a minute here, and it looks like our guy David's going to be picking the 10th spot. So shout out to David here. We also got Justin hanging out in the chat room. This one's a custom one. Justin's going to be picking from the 5 spot in a draft coming up here. So we wanted to see what we could do. And if you do have any requests, let me know in the comments. If you guys want me to do a 10 or a 12 team mock draft, pick the position. If you want to see what I can do with your spot, let me know. I definitely will be able to knock out some of those videos for you guys. But anyways, we are just getting going here in about 20 seconds. And the thumbnail guy is Justin Jefferson at the 5 spot. He's one of my favorite values. And we'll see what we can do here. In terms of my receiver rankings, I mean, I have a 4-point difference between Kupp and Jefferson. These guys, I have them scoring the most points in the league for PPR purposes. So we'll see if we can get a guy, Justin Jefferson. I would say Austin Eckler's a consolation. We'll see, though. We'll see how it goes. We got a couple auto picks in here. Hopefully not too long. They will stay auto. So we're just getting going here. Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, first 2 guys off the board. Those are kind of the chalk first 2 players off the board. And I will say in a 10-team league, I prefer getting running backs, but man, they're going to just give us Justin Jefferson every time with this. So to me, take the young, ascending, talented player here. And keep in mind, I know a lot of people are excited about the Vikings offense and how the LA Rams offense is going to kind of leak into this Vikings offense. Well, Justin Jefferson's going to be in that Cooper Kupp role. So we have JJ here as our first pick off the board. And now we're going to probably pivot and look towards some receivers. And yeah, Justin wants us to fade QB and tight end. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to be putting out a YouTube short soon, but we're going to be looking at the tight ends and seeing when we should be pulling our tight ends. So Justin Jefferson over Eckler because of PPR. Well, it's there's a couple things with Eckler. He's 27 years old, which is kind of a scary age for running backs. He also he just touches the ball a lot, and he does tend to get banged up a lot. He has a lot of soft tissue injury, so there's a slight injury risk with Austin Eckler. I'm not like fading him in the first round. I do like him in the first round, but for me, I want the young and ascending talented player here, and to get Justin Jefferson, who I think he's my number 1 player ranked this year in terms of projected PPR points. So I love getting Justin Jefferson, and because we like the running backs round 2, man. Like, look at we're on deck here. We can get Joe Mixon or DeAndre Swift here. It pays to wait. I think if you're sitting at this 5 spot, you could get Mixon or Swift, or if you wanted Fournette, you could totally do that. Travis Kelce is there as well if you wanted to grab an elite tight end. And I guess the flip side is if you wanted to start Eckler at the 5 spot, you can get a guy like CeeDee Lamb here. So an elite receiver. It's just, for me, I want Justin Jefferson on my team. We can come back and get DeAndre Swift here. Let me show you. I have DeAndre Swift ranked as my 15th best projected player in terms of running back rankings. He is my RB8, so I'm locking in a top 10 running back. He's played, I think, 14 games in each of his 2 seasons, so hopefully he can give us a little bit more juice. But man, we're getting a ton of receptions with him. So yeah, waiting for a running back round 2 makes a lot of sense to me. And then as we approach the third round's typically been a wide receiver round for me, but in a 10-team league, I mean, if they're going to give us if Aaron Jones falls here, that's going to be sick. You have 1, 2, 3 running backs that I think are worth a shot here. Even Saquon Barkley is worth a look here in the second round. And because it's 10-team, that does make me want to secure a second running back a little bit earlier. So we'll see what these guys do here. We got a couple auto picks. There goes T. Higgins, Javonte Williams, and they give us Aaron Jones here, Aaron Jones is our RB2. Technically, I have him ranked higher than DeAndre Swift here, so I kind of view them in the same light. So let's go ahead and land that. Otherwise, I mean, consolations would be Mike Evans, Saquon Barkley. But man, I think Aaron Jones round 3, man. What is that, 26th overall or 25th overall? That feels like a slam dunk. So in terms of my flex rankings, we get my 14th and 15th ranked player, and we pair him with my number 1. So Justin Jefferson, it paid off. Taking Jefferson in the first we get 2 top 10 potential running backs in Jones and Swift. So would you prefer Jones and Dillon? That doesn't bother me. If we want to target AJ Dillon in the 7th or 8th round, we can totally do that. I think they're going to complement each other pretty well this year. And then also, like, if one of them were to get injured, you're kind of hedging your bet there. But I do feel strongly about AJ Dillon being a low-end RB2, even when AJ or an Aaron Jones is healthy. So I like both guys. Look at Saquon Barkley falling here to the end of the 3rd round here. He went 30th overall, so that's interesting. Good pick there by David. Let's take a peek and see what he's been up to. He got Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, and Stephon Diggs. So I love all these picks. And let's see who he makes for the opener of the 4th round. A couple guys stick out to me. Michael Pittman Jr. is there. Nick Chubb, not a super nice PPR back, but I mean, for him to get him as his RB3 in the flex, I think that's a really strong move here. And if someone doesn't stick out to you, like, you can't go wrong with Nick Chubb. We know he's going to be a top 15 back by the end of the season. So he's kind of like he's kind of just the old reliable. I love drafting players that I can trust, and Nick Chubb might be like one of the best pure running backs in the NFL. And it's a shame that they don't, get him more involved in the passing game. But anyways, we are on deck here. A couple guys stick out. I like Mike Williams, but the tight end Kyle Pitts is lurking here. Let me see in terms of my rankings here. I do have Kyle Pitts. Where is he? Kyle Pitts is my 38th ranked player here. We're drafting 36th overall. We did miss on Pitts, but if you can get Pitts in the 4th round, I think that's a pick that I want to make right now. The Atlanta Falcons are actually playing right now. We should check in on that and see what they got going on here. But we're on the clock. Mike Williams, I think if you want the boom, you go for Mike Williams here. If you want the safe play, you take Jalen Waddle. A lot of fun there in Jalen Waddle. Otherwise, like, I don't mind falling into Ezekiel Elliott here. It's not a sexy pick, but he's kind of like the Nick Chubb, where he's going to be a competitive player. But I'm going to get one of my top ranked wide receivers, Mike Williams Jr. here, or not Jr., but Mike Williams. To me, he's the number 1 receiver in the Chargers offense. And we just locked in. Let's see, where do I have him ranked? I have Mike Williams ranked as my 20th best flex player. I have him as a top 8 wide receiver. So we got 2 top 10 receivers, 2 top 10 running backs. Feeling good about this. Justin's yelling the Jets here. What do we got going on? Let me hit refresh on this Gamecast. We got Mike. I think Mike White is starting tonight. Let me go to the scores here. Let's take a peek. Is there anything live yet? I'll go to the Gamecast. But yeah, Jets Falcons tonight. I think Mike White's starting, no Flacco, but it sounds like the Falcons are going to play their starters. And yeah, Waddle and DJ Moore, those guys are really safe picks. I would have liked DJ Moore, but you can see he went round 3, pick 9. And then yeah, Jalen Waddle. So the difference for me is Mike Williams, he's got the more touchdown, more big play upside. Whereas if you want the safe, reliable Waddle, I'm not going to be opposed to that at all. Waddle, JJ Moore, and Pitts. So it's not doesn't look too bad this year. We're on the clock right now. We didn't get my boy Cortland Sutton. He's starting to rise up the draft boards, but Ezekiel Elliott is still here as a running back 3. That could look really, really nice. Amon-Ra St. Brown, a player I like quite a bit. I think we probably have to take Ezekiel Elliott here and just put him in the flex. This is a gift here. You see he's 42 rank here, and the fact that we can just lock him in there as the flex. So we got 3 strong running backs, and I think now we'll probably target AJ Dillon at some point. And then yeah, I'm a huge Amon-Ra St. Brown fan, but because we have DeAndre Swift, I don't know if we need to lean too heavy into the Lions offense. So if you don't get Swift, I think you want to put Amon-Ra St. Brown on your list. But with us getting Swift, we didn't need to make that a priority. But anyways, this is a fun, well-balanced draft here. I got 3 good running backs, 2 of my top 10 receivers. And yeah, Ezekiel Elliott, man, in my running back rankings, I mean, I have him right behind Nick Chubb, my RB15. I think he's going to be a safe and steady play for us. And we know he's going to catch passes. So I think Zeke in the 5th round, man, that feels round 5, pick 5. That feels pretty dang good. We're going to be up to picking a little bit here. The quarterbacks are falling. Herbert, Pat Mahomes here in the 6th round. I can't believe Justin Herbert's falling into the 6th round, man. This is pretty crazy. Let's see what we can do here. Amon-Ra St. Brown, DK Metcalf still on the board. Did the Darren Waller go off the board yet? I think Waller's ranked a little too low on this. But let's see what Dingle does here. I'm indifferent on DK Metcalf. I like him and I hate him at the same time. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's going to catch like 80 to 90 balls. So he's a guy that, again, in that offense with Jared Goff, he's going to be kind of like a diet Cooper Kupp, if you will, just a lot of targets and attention. But I think the move might be to go Gabe Davis here. We didn't get a Buffalo Bill early. So Gabriel Davis, of course, had the monster preseason game, not a monster game. He caught 3 for 40 and a touchdown, but he is a guy that I'm coming around to. But man, Justin Herbert in the 6th round, this feels pretty crazy to me. But Justin said we want to wait for QB, so I'm gonna flip a coin again. It's, do you want the safe and steady PPR points of Amon-Ra St. Brown, or do you want to go for the home run hits with Gabe Davis? I'm gonna attach myself to Josh Allen here. We didn't get Diggs or anything in the Buffalo offense, so we'll take Gabe Davis here. What's going on, Anthony? Thanks for hanging out. Was offered Herbert, AJ Brown, and ETN for my Lamar, Javonte Wall, and thoughts redraft. Interesting. So my other TE is Hawkinson. That's a very important note there. I think I'm going to take this trade. I know you're losing a little bit of juice at tight end going from Waller to Hawkinson, but you're getting younger at, I guess if this is a dynasty, I don't know if this is a dynasty or a redraft, but I strongly prefer Herbert over Lamar, and that does a lot for me. You're also getting AJ Brown, which is a huge piece, and I like, especially if this is PPR, I think you want ETN on your team this year. But we're on clock right now. Let me take a look here. Rashod Bateman sticks out. Elijah Moore sticks out. Did AJ Dillon go yet? We can try and float AJ Dillon in the next round here, but guys like Bateman, the #1 receiver for the Ravens, that could be a really nice play. Jalen Hurts also in play here too. But let's go ahead and collect Rashod Bateman. He's a guy here that can compete with Gabe Davis for a potential flex upgrade here. But redraft half PPR 10-man. What do you guys think in the comments? For me, I definitely prefer Herbert over Lamar. I mean, AJ Brown's going to boost your receiving group. I'm curious who your current receivers are, because getting AJ Brown is a really, really nice opportunity. And then again, but the difference between ETN and Javonte Williams is not that different in terms of my running back rankings here. I mean, I have Javonte as my RB13, but ETN, my RB17. You're not really downgrading too much. And I do think ETN, man, he's got a lot of juice. It sounds like James Robinson is 50-50 to play week 1 too, so you might be getting a deal on ETN. I think I'm going to do it, man, especially because you got Hawkinson. I think I'm going to do that, and Justin likes the Bateman there. So we're hitting a lot of good players. 4 stud receivers: Jefferson, Mike Williams, Gabe Davis, and Rashod Bateman. Taking some of these younger high upside receivers is fun, and then we're locked in pretty well here at the running back position, where we don't need to reach on anybody. But if I were to reach on someone, I mean, Jalen Hurts is falling, man. He just went right there. I would have loved the potential of Jalen Hurts, but looking around, other receivers I like. I love Elijah Moore, one of my favorite young up-and-coming talents. But AJ Dillon in the 8th round, that is something that I just cannot quit. And if I look later, I want to see where the tight ends are going, because we need a tight end soon. And the tight end that I like the most is Goddard. So we're going to gamble, see if we can get Goddard to slide through. But let's slap AJ Dillon on this team. And Anthony's got Kupp, Metcalf, Cooper, and Michael Thomas. I think I'm going to get you got to add AJ Brown to this, man. Getting Kupp, AJ Brown is instantly your second best receiver, in my opinion. And then you have a really good bench depth there with Metcalf, Cooper, and Michael Thomas. And again, I don't really think you're downgrading that much from Javonte to ETN. So to me, to move up to Herbert, it's a pretty fair trade too. Like there's benefits of both sides here, but I think you did pretty good with this one. And we'll get there in a second. But we missed out on Dallas Goedert, damn it. Anyways, we got 4 stud, pretty good running backs. We got 4 really quality receivers. At the QB spot, you got Dak, Rodgers. We can maybe try for Wilson or Burrow in a second here. The tight ends, Ertz. I mean, at this point, I think we're going to kind of punt the tight end position. But my boy Christian Kirk is still there. And I have Christian Kirk ranked pretty high for wide receivers. I have him here as my wide receiver 23. I have him catching 90-some receptions this year. He's going to be the leading guy for Trevor Lawrence. So Kirk as a wide receiver 2 in PPR drafts, man, that feels pretty dang dirty. And for him to be our wide receiver 5, like, good God. Jefferson, Mike Williams, Bateman, Gabe Davis, and Christian Kirk. Like, we're hitting some stud wide receivers there. And again, our running back, Swift, Jones, Elliott, and AJ Dillon. So thoughts on the 1A on Dillon and Jones? It's very clear to me that when they sent Davante Adams to Las Vegas, that the best 2 players on the Packers offense besides Aaron Rodgers are the running backs. It's Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. So you're going to find a way to get these guys both, upwards of 15, sometimes 20 touches per game. And I just think, come fantasy playoffs, when it gets cold in Green Bay and Lambeau, you don't want to tackle AJ. You don't want to mess with AJ Dillon. So to me, AJ Dillon's got RB2, whether it's 10 to 12 points, he could rush, say he gets 12 carries for 60 yards, but he adds, 2 or 3 catches for 20 some yards. I think he's got a safe 10 to 12 point floor. And then if he scores a touchdown too, like you're getting some really good juice there. And again, I think Aaron Jones is going to be in for a career year as a receiver. So I'm full go on both Packers running backs. And yeah, Goddard would have been nice. We could have played the gamble game there, but we're gonna wait. And yeah, man, no problem. Thanks for the question. Marvin Jones gonna be good. I think he's gonna be kind of in a committee with Zay Jones. The other night they actually had Zay Jones as the number 2 receiver. Zay Jones ran more routes. He also was on the field a little bit more for snaps. So I think maybe they're just being conservative with the veteran. But I think at the end of the day, Zay Jones, Marvin Jones, I don't really know if I see that big of a difference. So Zay Jones goes later. I think both guys are valid. And yeah, and what's crazy though, I mean, at this point, like we almost don't even need the Hines. Did Tony Pollard go yet? Tony Pollard. Dameon Pierce still on the board here, starting running back for the Houston Texans. That could be a really nice pick. In terms of the quarterback, man, I think if you play in a 10-man league, I think you got to wait for quarterback. The fact that we're in the 10th round, you can get Dak, Rodgers, Wilson, Burrow, Stafford, Lance, Carr, Cousins. Like, oh my goodness. Waiting for QB makes a lot of sense. And I think it also correlates to waiting on tight end. So I'm liking what we're seeing here. Tight end, I still don't know if I love anybody here. There's a couple guys, maybe Freiermuth, Kmet, Dawson, Knox could pique our interest at some point. But man, the QBs are still looking really good here. But we're going to go ahead and get the rookie Dameon Pierce on the team. The dude didn't even play in their second preseason game. Like, they gave him starter treatment. So it looks like he's got the job locked up. I don't know how valuable Houston running back's going to be, but I think you have to admit the Texans are going to be a better team than they were last year. And again, the AFC South division is not exactly full of really, really good defenses. So I think there's going to be some value there. And we get him as our RB5. Like, that seems pretty foolish. And again, I do love Nyheim Hines. And yeah, if we can get Ertz went round 10, pick 3. He's a fine consolation where if you miss out on Goddard, and you can just plug in Zach Ertz. I think he's going to have a hot September and into October because no DeAndre Hopkins. Like, Ertz is arguably the first or second target on that team. Trading off with he's going to trade off with Marquise Brown and some of the other guys that they have there. But it looks like we had a run on QB: Russ, Burrow, Lance, Stafford, Rodgers. So this is kind of the worst case scenario. You get Derek Carr, you get Kirk Cousins or Trevor Lawrence. So I think what we'll do here is let's go ahead and land with Kirk Cousins because we have Justin Jefferson. So we'll pair him with their boy Justin Jefferson. And guess what? Like, that's not a terrible position to be in. You look at Kirk Cousins, he was our quarterback 11 last year, and he averaged a healthy amount of points. He put up 200. He put up 300 points last season. So that's a lot of quarterback points. And he's free. He's basically, you wait on quarterback, you get Cousins for free. I like Knox. Is Boyd a top 25 receiver? I would say he's a top 36, top 34 receiver. He's a guy that looks good on the bench. Tyler Boyd in the past few seasons, he's been a pretty productive receiver. And it's not always pretty, especially with the emergence of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins last year. But Tyler Boyd was wide receiver 31 last year. And I think the year before that, let's see what he was. Am I almost up to pick? The year before that, Tyler Boyd. Now, keep in mind, this is before Jamar Chase was there, but Tyler Boyd was, where is he? Wide receiver 30. So, again, he's kind of like a nice fringe flex play. And, yeah, round 10 QB makes sense, especially if you want to get, one of Dak, Rodgers, Russ, Burrow, Lance. That's kind of the sweet spot, it looks like. You want to kind of be ahead of those guys round 10. So maybe I don't take Dameon Pierce in the 10th there. You collect one of those stud QBs. But either way, Kirk Cousins is a pretty nice consolation for a QB. Looking at the tight ends, again, we can still get Cole Kmet, who he didn't score any touchdowns last year, but his volume is pretty dang good. He's consistent. You see five targets for the most part. That's kind of his floor. But yeah, I do like Knox. I like Higbee. You know, there's a lot of these guys here that I think we can make a, basically when you wait for tight end, you're going to make a cool duo of a couple guys. And it looks like we have 1-2 bench spots left. Nyheim Hines still on the board. I think he should be drafted, guys. But we already have 5 running backs. We need to save up room for another tight end or so. Let's go ahead and collect Kmet just because I think he's the clear number 2 target in that Bears offense. I don't love the Bears offense this year, but it's hard to ignore the potential volume that he's going to be getting as a pass catcher. And again, just because we waited on tight end, we'll go ahead and collect Dawson Knox next. I still can't believe Nyheim Hines is still on the board, guys. This is pretty insane, to say the least. I think at this point, you can start to look at defenses and kickers if you want. The hot defense that I've been drafting is the 49ers because they're going to start the year at Chicago, and then they host Seattle the next week. So they have 2 really nice matchups to start the year. I think I want to wait and see if defenses start flying off the board. And then if you want a top kicker, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. If you want to pull one of these top kickers, I think that's okay with me. Mid rounds, I don't know for sure though. And yeah, to me, I still think Goddard would have been really nice pick there. We're back up to pick, and Derek Carr is still on the board. Dawson Knox, one of the top ranked players here. So we'll collect Dawson Knox, and now we have a tight end committee of Kmet and Dawson Knox, which is pretty good. We have the safe floor of Kmet, but if we want to go for a touchdown, we could throw in Dawson Knox, and then I'm gonna save this last spot here because we want to kind of get that defense in there, I think, because you're going to have a hot start with the 49ers defense for the first 2 games here. So let's go ahead and get that in there. And then, yeah, my tight end rankings, you're going to see, I mean, I got Knox and Kmet as tight ends 10 and 11. So these are the next man up to enter the top 10 for me. So I think it's a pretty good pairing, pretty solid pairing, and they're cheap. They're cheap and free. So let's just see if we get some of these guys to fall to us. What do we got going on here? Marcus Mariota, Kyle Pitts with a 52-yard catch. Oh, my God, I have to watch this. I have to check that highlight out at some point here. But it looks like Mike White, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson getting some playtime here. But Kyle Pitts with a 52-yard catch. He is the tight end target. Yeah, that's the tight end you're looking for. He's a unicorn of a prospect. Kyle Pitts, guys. I think that's the move. But anyways, we are almost through here. We're going to try and get this 49ers defense locked in, and then we'll try and figure out what to do after this. I do love the Packers defense long term. They do have a tough matchup against the Vikings week 1. They play the Bears week 2, but then they play Tampa Bay and Buffalo. So they have kind of a tough month as far as, stopping opponents. So to me, 49ers defense, that's the one we want. They got Bosa, and they got the Drake Jackson. They got a lot of really good pieces here. But man, it looks like Kyle Pitts is the dude. There we go. We get the 49ers defense, and I don't mind, being ahead. I have 1 empty bench spot here. We can collect somebody that falls to us, but I think we want to pivot. Let's get one of these top kickers locked in. Justin Tucker, Evan McPherson, Matt Gay, Harrison Butker, Dan the Man Carlson. Let's lock in one of these top 5 kickers. And then we'll kind of make like a celeb shot with our last pick, because at the end of the day, like in the first week or 2, you're probably going to end up cutting like the last guy on your bench anyways at some point, right? So we'll take like a risk, I guess, with that last pick. I would love to lock in McPherson here, and let's go ahead and lock in one of the top kickers of the game. There we go. Could we get Pitts instead of Mike Williams? Not in this draft. Pitts went literally the pick right before us, unfortunately. If I go to pick history here, I believe it was the 4th round. Kyle Pitts, literally 35th overall, 1 right in front of us. So that's the sweet spot, though. If you want Kyle Pitts, you got to take him in the 4th round. One of the first 4 picks probably will do it. But I wanted to pivot. Let's take a peek at David's team. The madman's got Jalen Hurts, Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, Hunter Henry, and Nick Chubb as his starting unit. The bench looks pretty sweet, though. Darnell Mooney, Mike Thomas, Brandon Ayuk, James Cook, and Kenneth Walker. Treylon Burks, a good run of rookies here. And then Irv Smith. I like the tight end duo for sure. And it's okay to, like, if you're going to have 1 weak position, it's going to be tight end. And it's okay to have a nice duo there. So I think David did pretty dang good with his wait for tight end approach. But we got 1 more pick to make. I mean, at this point, I don't really know what position to take. We could look at the flexes. You got David Njoku at the top. We could take a Kenneth Gainwell. We could take a flyer on Brian Robinson, the rookie running back. But guys like Rondale Moore, Nico Collins, George Pickens still available here, guys. Look at some of these rookies, some of these names here. Wow. I mean, Alec Pierce, Christian Watson. I think the move is to wait for your last pick. And if you wanted a quarterback, I don't know if it makes sense to grab a quarterback here. Let's go back to the flex play. But holy bull. We got our pick of a potential rookie here. And I don't know if you saw, but George Pickens was listed as the favorite to win Rookie of the Year. So I don't know what you guys think here. I'm a huge Rondale Moore fan. Brian Robinson, a guy worth holding on to because we know Antonio Gibson's kind of in the doghouse. So this is a lot of fun at this point. But let's go ahead. Even Nico Collins, man. But we'll take this Rookie of the Year prospect here and see what we can get out of George Pickens. So overall, pretty fun draft. You got Kirk Cousins, DeAndre Swift, Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Mike Williams, Cole Kmet, and Ezekiel Elliott. Our bench, though, look at our bench. On our bench, we have Gabe Davis, Rashod Bateman, A.J. Dillon, Christian Kirk, Dameon Pierce. We have Dawson Knox and George Pickens. So I think we hit this one out of the park. This one went pretty damn well. And, yeah, that was a lot of fun. So good recap there. I'm going to get to this Atlanta Falcons game. We'll see if Mariota can play another series here. But, yeah, man, Kyle Pitts, 52-yard catch. That's some hot round 4 action for you there. But this was a lot of fun. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe if you guys are new. Helps the channel grow. And thank you guys so much for your time. We'll see you in a future video. Have a good one. Peace.